Okay, guys. So, Kabir, good to see you. Good to see you. And I've got us on there. Hi, Matt. Good to see you. Kelly, through. Good to see you. I hope you're keeping well. Oh, I've just run in. Martin's here. Martin, I saw you there for a second. There you are. I'm going to join you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, hear you fine. Absolutely fine.
Oh, man. Do you know something? I've run in. I got here 3 minutes ago. And then what happened? My internet froze. And I was running around anywhere, just been out. And it does make you a little bit flustered when you get in. But I'm in. I've got my board in case I need it. Probably not. Listen, let's just talk about the market because it's been crazy for me. I've instructed the architect to do. Oh, David, good evening, David. I know I've got to finish that stuff for you. I will get on it. It's just been absolutely crazy in these past 3 weeks. You know, I was ill for 1 week, but these past two and a half weeks have been crazy. Instructed the architect in two projects, new builds, which would be, new developments, which would be quite exciting. And I got some information of a house which has been turned into a drug factory, a marijuana shed in London. And I have a question for Martin because I'm speaking to the owner this evening at 9 o'clock with the goal really to go next week to see it, to hopefully put it on an auction for us to do all the work. And I've got my son here, so he's a bit of a perfectionist as a builder, but he would go in, do everything. We'll do it up and then put it on the market. And I think, so if we go down, a couple of things we're going to do is, look at the property, assess the damage, assess what it's going to, what it take to put it right, cost that out so we can come up with a price and see if the numbers work. And Martin will confirm. If the numbers don't work, it doesn't work and it's a no deal. Yeah. But it's horrendous, the what's been done to this house. And, prison for these people, it won't be long enough with the way they treat property. It's disgusting. Anyway, Martin, with a house which is known and it's been cited as a drug den, in as much as it's been used to produce marijuana and everything and the electricity, and there'll be a marker on that house. All right, there will be a marker. So we do it up and we go and sell it, and the prospective buyer comes along to buy it. My question is, it's all done. We dealt with the smell and everything else. Are we all right? Or is that and what is the marker? How is it held and how is it lifted?
Hey, look, Trevor, how many houses do we see? He's got a beer. I haven't. All right. How many houses do we see that are either drug dens, brothels, dungeons, or whatever, or over the last 34 years? I know we mentioned this before on Cashflow, but look, you deal with the problem, you eradicate the problem goes away. It's gone. Yeah, no one's going to go, oh, it's a former drug den. As long as you've done it. Time is a great healer.
Okay.
I bought a house, an exec house up in Swindon, up the road, right? A bigger one, a 7-bedder, was a drug den, had a cannabis farm growing out of its roof, but that's done all right over the last few years. Well, very well over the last few years. Lenders don't look at that. I mean, valuers might mention that we saw in the press that there was a drug den in there and whatever, but time's a great healer and people have only got a 2-week memory span. Yeah. Let's be honest. Everything is over in 2 weeks when events happen. People move on, their lives get different. The same with property as well. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Yeah, these things happen. Do you see, Lesley, was it Lesley showed us one, a drug den? I bet that gets done up and resold for God knows what.
Well, it might be the same one. As I said, I'm talking to the owner this evening. I hope to go down tomorrow. Not tomorrow, on Tuesday. I'm hoping to go down on Tuesday if it's all if we can do something. We'll go down, and it is about assessing. So one of the things, there will be a big hole in the ceiling, a big hole. Let's say it's going to be that wide, just chopped out. So they put this vent down so they can bring air in, and they can not just bring air, but they warm air so they get that humidity going. They had to put this humidity in to grow these plants, and so it's almost tropical like. So you've got this nice hole. It's not a meter square. So a lot of people will walk in and say, oh, I've got to put a new ceiling up. You've got to put a new ceiling in this room. No, you don't. The way you do it is you've got to look at if they've been through joists, and that's, you can repair that, right? You might have to put a new joist across unless it depends what they've done and if there's enough to leverage across. So you might be able to repair with some steel reinforcement, or you replace a joist. But the actual ceiling, Eric, be quiet.
Sorry. My wife's
But the actual ceiling, you're going to chop out a meter square, you'll replace that with plasterboards, and then you will replaster. Now, I saw in one of them, I think it's Artext. So you could continue the Artext and then repaint the whole ceiling. So sometimes it's not as bad as it actually looks. You just got to look with the right eyes. And, that's it. So, hi, Chris, Mo, good to see you. Mo says, where is everyone? There's not many on here tonight. I don't know. We're interesting. Martin's funny. No, I'm the funny one. Abby's on, Simi's on, and Holly, good to see you. I hope Danny's doing well. But it's an interesting one. And obviously, I'm going to be meeting some other people if I drive down to London. What's going on with the market, Martin? Where's lenders? 75% loan to value now?
Hey, look, mate, I've gone through 20. How many weeks is it now? I don't know. Are we 21, 22, 18, 19? I've got no idea what's going on. Right, but the market is moving every day. Right, so tomorrow, a lot of lenders returned with their normal products this week. And tomorrow, Shawbrook returned with the normal products for heavy refurb, bridging, or everything. So on the surface, you think, oh, it's looking all right, don't you? There's a lot of things happening otherwise in underwriting and criteria changes, and it's just a complete nightmare to keep up with. Every mortgage broker is saying the same thing. Anybody involved in commercial finance or just residential. These poor sods that are going out to buy residential houses at the moment, thinking they can move up, move down, get a bigger garden or whatever, they're subject to such strict underwriting. But our market, our buy-to-let, our HMO, our multi-unit block, our commercial market, that seems to be adapted a lot better than the resi market. So I think we'll be all right, mate, to be fair. I think you ain't going to see 80% or 85%. So if you're dreaming of it, forget it. It's not going to happen. You're lucky to get 75% these days. And the rates, if you notice the rates,
are they going up? Well, tell us. No, you see the rates more than us. So tell us. So normally, if I was buying a house, let's say just a straight let, buy to let on a commercial mortgage, normally I would say somewhere between, 3.5 to 3.7, 3.8, something like that. What's it now?
Well, the normal buy to let's all right. Do you know, that seems to have survived.
All right, and maybe lower than that now?
Yeah, they're batting around. They're all after your business in that market. It's when you get to the HMOs, or you get to the flats in a block, or you've got a freehold block of flats, I should say, for those that don't understand multi-unit block terms, and the semi-commercial market, if you're trying to borrow over 65%, suddenly the rates go, they're really not that attractive.
Yeah.
However, you have to say that me and you both come from a time where these rates are really attractive, because 11.9 was a standard mortgage rate when we were
17%.
I know. So
what's 17%? Look, let's work this out. All right, if you've got £100,000 mortgage, all right, someone do it for me, please, because you're not giving me any questions. Calvin, good to see you. No one's giving me any questions, so we're just going to banter on. But listen, £100,000. All right, 17% is £17,000 a year. Divide that, it's going to be, I'm going to have a guess, it's going to be, don't say anything, it's going to be 1,000, hang on a minute, 17,000, yeah, hang on a minute, it's going to be £1,712.
That'd be just short of 1,500.
Oh, is it? Okay, £1,500.
But I mean, that'll hurt. I mean, if you think about it today, but that's what we paid.
Yeah.
Well,
and they didn't want to give it interest only. They wanted the capital back as well. It's getting crazy.
And now you got guys going, oh, 4.1's a bit high. Oh, get out of here. What world are you living in, guys? You can wait all you like, but these rates ain't going down. I don't care if the base rate gets cut to minus, it isn't going down. So it's the lenders have got to make margins. They're all struggling with payment holidays and bounce backs and everything else that's going on at the moment. And a lot of lenders are shedding staff, so we have to look at it. And I think young Trevor has frozen, but we'll keep on going. But if anybody's got any questions, fire them in. His internet is clearly rubbish. He needs to change it. I'll just plug it in the chat for a second. If anyone got any questions around HMO mortgages, because we've seen a lot of things in the last week or so, which have troubled us on valuation side, if you like. I'm going to post some stuff in Cashflow Freedom, which is going to be extracts from valuation reports, where we've done mortgages for, or we're doing mortgages for people, and the valuation report has come back and had certain statements in it, if you like. So if you can imagine a guy's bought a property for, say, 70 grand, it was 70 grand, by the way. He spent over 100 grand on it to create this all singing or dancing HMO, and it's got all the en suites, it's got the fire panels, it's got everything going on for it. It's a proper HMO. But the valuer made a comment. He put, "This may appeal to a residential family" in it. So the lender decided that this was not going to be a commercial valuation. They wouldn't go off that value. They would go off the bricks and mortar resi val. Now, by doing that, they've absolutely crucified the guy. So, all right, we're appealing it, and we'll probably get it turned around. Trevor's come back on now, but he can't get on with his bridge. But these sorts of things need to be done. So we've got some news for you tonight. It's like, look, if you want an HMO mortgage, we're not just going to say, yeah, here you go. We want to see your plans, buds. All right, we want to see your schedule of works, what you've done to it. We want to see your floor plan. We want to see your room sizes. We want to see absolutely everything before we place it for you, because otherwise you're going to be burning through valuation fees like it's gone out of fashion. All right, so just don't do it. If you want a commercial val, then you need to speak to somebody that actually understands property, understands HMOs. I don't know whether Trevor's back on. Nope, he's not. Right, so I will do it. I will publish these things in Cashflow.
I'm here.
Nice one, mate. All right, so in Cashflow Freedom, I will publish these valuation reports and these findings. You can all take it. We'll give you the outcome. We'll give you the decision and outcome as well, so that you can see what actually people go through. But it's something you've really got to be aware of now. If you're going to do an HMO and you're not going to adhere to room sizes, then the valuers will discount that from your valuation. They'll take it out. Now, lenders also have guidelines around room sizes. So they'll say, if it's not the right room size, don't care if you've got a license or not, I'm going to chop that room out. So we'll take that rent out and we'll downgrade your valuation. So you really do need to talk to people that know what they're doing. Trevor is a great source of information. Honestly, you know, he knows this stuff. And I don't need to tell him that. He knows this stuff. So, but it has all changed. But I'll pass you back to Trevor now, because he decided to vanish. And now he's got the golden gate.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. My internet, I've got to contact the provider Skype, but it keeps on dropping out this last few days. I don't know, and there's no weather issue, so I'll have to contact them. Maybe routers start to mess about. But I'm on my phone on 4G. I'm not in San Francisco. I've got this silly background on, but I am here. Martin, I did hear that, although I didn't realise I was muted. But I said muted, my friend, all right, just in case it's for no confusion. So the thing is, look, what about experience? A lot of people are talking about, look, you do say people can't actually do some, major refurbs or even going in to do conversions without some experience. So my question is, what's the difference in rates for people? I think that's a good question. If someone said, look, I wanted to, one house into two flats, never done it before, haven't got any experience at all, and you could find a lender, what sort of rate would they be looking at? And if they were to partner up with someone like myself or someone like that with experience, what rates would you be looking at then? What is the differential?
Differential can be massive. I mean, if they partner up with you and it all works, the lowest rate's around 0.55 a month, which is relatively cheap. 0.65 is pretty common. As you go, depending on the loan size as well. So if the loan size drops below 100 grand, then you'll find the rates will be pushed up regardless, all right, because nothing in it for the lender.
Yeah.
If you've got zero experience, and you want to smash out a property to whatever it's going to be, then you're probably looking at 1+ a month. The difference is huge. So you've got to weigh up, is it better to partner with somebody, all right, with the differential in the rate, the fees, the costs, the charges, or go on my own? Now, I'm of the opinion that I would partner with someone, Trevor, because if that was me, I was a newbie, because the savings are massive. And also, the guy's got experience that you're partnering with. He'll cut your time on your bridge down by probably a third. So, and that will save you endless funds. But a lot of people are bullish. I could do it myself. Off they go, and they get a real crap quote, and they don't work out what any contingency. They don't understand variations or things that go on in property, and they end up overrunning and get stung by the lender on the back end. Yeah. So I think you're right, mate. Partnering initially to get your experience must be the way forward.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I absolutely
must, but good.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And it's a difficult one because, trust is a huge thing. It is. Yeah. But I think, look, I've had some discussions with people lately about developments and things. And one of the biggest complaints where people don't see it coming is not with, joint venture partners, not with, someone that you're someone in your company, your joint director or whatever. It's builders. Yeah. And the amount of times that a builder will, one for a better word, shaft the investor or the developer, should I say, they will shaft them and then they walk off. And whenever a builder walks off, first of all, they would have walked off with more cash than work that they've done. Secondly, they're leaving work which is undone. And let's take electrical work for one part of it, only one part. And don't think electrical is any more important than foundations or anything else, all right? But an electrician, when he comes in, he won't want to be touching other people's stuff, all right? Because he's got to go back and run it and test it because he will sign off everything. And I can tell you that, it's difficult. So it is about, and someone questioned me recently on social media and said, Trevor, are you a qualified site manager? No, I'm not, and I will never be one. But my job is to make sure that the development goes smoothly. I make daily decisions. I make sure that everything goes well, the money's there for them, and they're on time, and so everything can run smoothly. But it's interesting, you must have hundreds of stories, Martin, where you've been financing a project for someone, or set finance up, and builders. Come on, give us a couple of your stories.
There are right planks out there. All right. Go to the massive scale. Let's start with the big ones. All right. So you've got dudes that want to build 12 houses, a bit like you've done the development. All right, and the builders and the architects, they've got a whole project. These guys didn't know squat when they went in there, so they've gone into it and they planned it all out. Great, they've applied for the plan commission. Everybody's looking at it. Great, it's going to go fine. All right, but what's the major necessity for a house when you flush your toilet? That it goes into a sewer, maybe. All right, the actual connection wasn't on their site. It was on one that owned by Red Row Homes. All right, so Red Row Homes came along and went, well, you divvies, why didn't you approach us before? That's 100 grand, mate, to connect your poo pipe. And these are meant to be experienced. They got a whole team planning. You've got other guys that, or builders or sticking, they're all chasing it, aren't they, at the end of the day? They're chasing a quote. And they'll do a quote. We've had some, obviously some people on here tonight will probably be listening to it, where the quote comes in, but there's, like in the bottom, there's all these additional things. They're like, oh, we haven't costed for that. We haven't costed for that. So you've got your original quote, which you give to the lending company, and then all these other bloody things come out, and it's £20,000, £30,000 higher. The thing doesn't work anymore for the lending companies. The lending companies look at loan to cost, loan to profit. If it doesn't work, they ain't going to fund you, boys. That's it. So you do need decent builders. You cannot skimp on this at all. I mean, God, Trevor, I've seen so many fast projects. The thing is, though, we have to do it. It wastes our time, but it's burning through the person's money because they didn't know what they were doing in the first place. They took it on face value. Oh, he seemed like a nice bloke. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Nice quote. I trust him. Get out of it. It's a contract. The guy's you're paying the dude. Make sure he's quoted properly for it. And I don't know how many overrun, mate. I really don't, but probably 80% of them on cost.
Well, let me just ask you a question. Have you ever heard of maybe a builder doing, I can't remember, it might have been about 8 flats or something, but a builder who's been paid to do a job and in haste has actually produced gas certificates, real credible gas certificates for each of the flats, only to find out that there's no gas to the building.
I know who you're referring to as well, and yes, I have. That was just an absolute smash.
Was it 8 flats? Was it 8? I can't remember.
6, but yeah. Not only that, Trevor, the Pillock built it in the wrong place. He didn't follow the plan, and the whole property was almost 1,000 mil to the wrong side. So the planning guys are going, what are you doing? And also it had no gas, but it had gas certificates. Well done. But we see, I mean, those sorts of things. The biggest dodge, one of the dodges we see is on EPC when these guys build flats. They turn the EPC people into producing an EPC certificate saying that it's 31, 32 meters square as well. So the lenders used to look at that for guidance, you know, and the flat was only 25 square.
Yeah, there you go. Well, not if you go in the cupboards and round the back.
Yeah. Or you get really drunk and get a tape measure out. You know?
I've got a couple of questions. Ricardo says, good evening. How much do you think will be the interest rates during the next 2 to 3 years, up or down, please?
Stay constant. They're not going, well, they're not. The thing is, everybody looks at base rate. They look at base rate. Forget LIBOR now, because LIBOR's going out of the game. Yeah. Right? But they look at base rate and they go, oh, the base rate's falling, so it's going to be lovely. We'll go negative. Yeah, but lenders won't lend you at that anyway. So their margins are set pretty much for a couple of years now. They might try and spank you a bit on the higher loan to values, but they're pretty much set. So this is why we've come out of COVID and we haven't seen spikes in interest in the amount of percentage rates they're charging for mortgages at the moment. I mean, there's a game on at the moment. You know, there's a couple of people a couple of lenders that will drop the rate to try and get your business, etc. You've got to remember that a lot of the lenders, they're non-banks, so they're not banks. They've borrowed money or securitized. They've got money in. They have to use these funds. A lot of these peer-to-peer groups that you might hear it. We've got institutional lending. They borrowed that money from somewhere. All right, doesn't matter where it comes from, but that's at a rate of interest that you're paying on now while it's sat in your bank account. If you don't lend it, then you're going to run into trouble. It costs you money. So if you don't utilise that debt and get it out the door, which is why then you see fire sale rates.
Yeah.
You see it all the time. Look at it and go, why has that lender traditionally been at 3.5, now at 2? They're trying to get funds out the door to try and keep themselves alive. So that happens a lot. But
Matthew has asked, I understand that the general rule of thumb for residential is 4.5 times personal income. But what is the rule of thumb for buy-to-let lending and commercial lending? Also, would the property with two flats I'm discussing be considered for commercial lending?
Right. Last question, yes. All right. So let's get that out of the way. Calculations for either buy-to-let, commercial or whatever, they're pretty much standard these days. It all depends on your personal circumstance. So if you're a higher rate taxpayer the calculation is stiffer. If you're a low rate taxpayer, it's less. However, there's so many different ways of looking at this now. If you're looking at a buy-to-let generally, and let's just say you're a standard rate taxpayer, you're not paying higher rate tax or anything like that, or additional rate, then they'll calculate what you can afford at 5.5%. So whatever you want to borrow at 5.5%, times that by 125%, right? Then you've got to make it into a payment, and that must be less than the rent. Is the way that they look at it. However, it goes up to 145%. But then there's something called top slicing, just to chuck it in the mix. You know, if you've got a big income, then some lenders will look at it. Well, okay, all right, it doesn't work on the rent. You can't afford it. The rent doesn't cover it. But you've got a good income, bud. So what we'll do is we'll use a bit of that to work out whether we can lend to you. And there's all others. And then there are non-banks, or some of the banks that just go, oh, we don't give a shit about that calculation anyway. What we'll do is we'll do our own gig, because we're not registered with the PRA, so we don't really care. And they'll give you a higher multiple on your rent to cover your payment. So it's all over the place. You can't by yourselves, guys. I mean, look, if I've been in it for 30, actually tomorrow, tomorrow is the day I started in finance in 1988. So it's my anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, are you having a party?
Yeah, I'm going to get the Zimmer frame out and push it around the garden. But you've got to look at it and go, look, things change all the time, and we can't keep up with it. So we've given up keeping up with it. What we do is just adapt it. So whoever rings in, whatever deal comes in, we'll then go and have to research it. Whereas before, we're going, yeah, that's fine. Just do it that way. You can't do it anymore.
Okay. Right. That's good. Calvin says hi. Adib says, hi guys, what is the mortgage market like right now for bridge to let products or similar?
Good question. That tomorrow, give me a ring tomorrow, because news. Hey, hot off the press. The bridge to term products are making a comeback, a resurgence. Right now, during lockdown, what they've done is they've tried to streamline the process, because to be fair, as you know, Trevor, it was a little bit clunky, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know you're going to term out, but why does it take them so bloody long to do it? How idiotic. You've already got to charge over the property, just do it. So the lenders are bringing out the offer on day one on the bridge, and say your GDV is X, then they'll do the offer based on that, or whatever the valuer says on that first initial bridge. And then when you get to the point of finishing the works, the offer is sat there. If the valuation's higher or lower, they'll adjust it, and then they just complete. So there's no crappy underwriting in between.
Okay, that's good. Good news. So let's find out tomorrow. Glad says, it's always nice to see you, Trevor. I don't think he likes you. He just said Trevor this time. Thank you. Very nice to see you too. Welcome. Claire says, hi guys. Sorry it's been so long. I've not been on live for weeks. I'm ashamed of myself. Thank you both so much for your help recently. I don't know what to say.
I say, Claire, the wine should be in the post.
Yeah, the wine should be in the post. Yeah, the wine should be in the post. We love you, Claire. Martin, she says, not for you. No, she didn't. She said, Martin, asking for my friend. Oh, I know that. You know, when someone starts, when someone starts saying, listen, if my friend, I've got a friend who might ask you out on a Friday night, would you go with them if, you know? So Claire says, okay, my friend, all right, owns her £380,000 house outright, has over £100,000 in savings, but only works part-time, and hubby doesn't work. What is the likelihood of a lender allowing her to refinance her home and use the funds to contribute to the deposit of a new property? Would the new buy-to-let be based on rental income rather than her income? Would they lend on her next residential? She only takes home around 25 to 30,000.
Oh yeah, but borrowing's restricted, irrespective of how much equity or money she's got in the bank. What you've got to do, Claire, is look at it. It's 30,000 times, I'll just give you a figure for now, but it can differ depending on circumstance and loan to value, but say 4.5 times 30 is really what her borrowing capacity is. Now, she has got an asset value and she has got some savings, so that may well be taken into account, but generally you got to look at 4.5. Things are not as simple as they once were in Resi world. They're not simple at all. However, I mean, there is an argument that she wanted to buy to let property. Did you say it was unencumbered, the house?
Yes. Yeah.
There is an argument to say that, well, why doesn't she just use that as additional security and raise 100% finance? Buy it and not through the pain. That's right. As long as there's a strategy there, because I don't really like the house, your main home, your family home, being utilised. But if you're doing, say, a fixer-upper, I know Claire looks at a lot. So doing a fixer-upper where you've got added value once you've done it, then that charge will be released anyway. So it depends on what part of the country they're buying in as well.
Can we put one myth to bed with this? Because a lot of people think, Martin, that when they take out a bridge, which you're talking about, using the house as collateral to raise let's say it's £180,000 against the house. Now, whether or not, there's two ways that either they're going to look at the interest over, let's say 6-month term or 12 months. Either they're going to take the interest out at the beginning or they're going to roll it up. But without experience, they're probably going to take it out at the beginning. Yeah. But there's no monthly payments. A lot of people think, well, how am I going to pay if I can't even rent it? Can you just please put that to bed? The myths about bridging, that you're paying every month on it.
All right. I mean, the simplest way is to break it down. Now, I don't know how many people are watching tonight. Stick it in the chat so we can see who you are. But I'm not here to judge anybody. All right. I don't want to judge anybody. But a lot of advice to guys out there was bridging is expensive. All right. And that's the way it's been perceived. And there are certain individuals out there in our industry that will say, look, just buy it on a buy to, I won't put the voice on now.
Do the voice. Go on, we love the voice, Martin. We love
buy it on a buy to let. No, buy it on a buy to let mortgage, all right, and then smash it about whatever you want, and then refinance it down the line on another, to take the money out on another buy when you got the higher value, right? So don't do bridging because bridging is expensive. Now, what I'm going to say now is going to be controversial, but those guys are absolute frigging spanners, all right? They don't know what they're doing, all right, because the bridging to term product actually is cheaper for this reason and this reason only. What happens when, let's use Claire as an example because she's lovely, all right? So we'll use Claire. Claire wants to buy a property at 100,000 and she wants to smash it about and she wants to increase its value, say, to 200,000 by spending 30 or 40,000. Some dibwad says, go take out a buy-to-let mortgage. So why does he do that? Why does he do that? Because he doesn't know that the theory, all right? So she takes out a buy-to-let mortgage at 3 or 3.5% limited company. She pays what in fees, Trevor? 2%? 1.5%?
Yeah, 2%.
So 3.5 plus 2 is what? 5, right? Oh, she's got a legal fee to pay because lenders' fees, the lenders also have their own legals. That's roughly 0.25% of the loan anyway. So we're edging it up, all right? They try to use the no ERC plans because they think that's the right thing to do because they're spastics. All right.
No, we won't use that one. About the ERC, early redemption charges. Yeah. And
then the work's all done. So Claire runs along to the broker and goes, right, I'm ready to refinance now. Will this lender give me more money, the one I'm with already? No, they won't, because they didn't know you were going to do the work. So I didn't bother to tell them anyway, and you've actually breached your mortgage guidelines. But I'll tell you what, we'll go to this lender over here. And they'll charge you what? They'll charge you 3.5% interest rate, 2% arrangement, another quarter percent, and probably an early repayment charge as well, and a brokerage fee. So overall, what have you paid for your 6 months' money? For the benefit of having that money for 6 months? Nothing. All right, you've paid, what, 12% overall? Now, bridging companies come along and they go, no, well, look, we'll bridge it for you. It's going to cost you 7, 8 or 9%. Probably 10 with the fees, but we'll term you out the other end and you're on the right product from the start. You've got no issue with lending companies at all. So you can continue your property journey, but the idiots that are doing it through buy-to-lets or being, it's not actually the people. That's what really frustrates me, Trevor. It's not the customer. It's the advice that they're given is frustrating because they're ruining these people. I mean, you've got banks like Shawbrook, HTB, Kent Reliance, Precise, and all those now looking at where your mortgage started and what your property was. I mean, what are you going to do? Yeah, you started the property journey, you made a great profit on your first one, can't get a second one because nobody wants to lend to me anymore. Is that really what you guys want to do? I don't think it really is. That's a rant, just for you.
Thank you. We love your rants. We love it. But listen, that is the truth. And, you know, it's funny because that is the truth. And I love it. I love it. I do apologise if anyone offended by some of the words, descriptions. There was no offence intended. It was just emotion. However, I do agree with you, and it is one. And do you know what? It was hard. It's been hard to get you to actually say that because, you know, I would say probably a couple of months ago you didn't really want to say that, but you come up with
150 of these things in the last month, where people are on the wrong mortgage. It could be service accommodation. It could be my house. This now it's flats. It's now an HMO. It's now got a charity in it. It's now got this. It's now got that. I mean, come on, you know, it's the game. The game is now. If these people want to continue to trade in business, they got to sharpen up, because at some point in time, the FCA or the regulators are going to knock them out of bed, or the lenders will.
I agree. I'm with you 100%. Claire, I hope that answers the question. Lovely to see you on tonight. Bless you. Peter, my friend, good to see you. Peter, I'm really sorry. We must catch up one day. I love your support, and our lasting memory of you, Peter, is sitting there in your dress, my friend. Honestly, it was fantastic. Anyway, Peter has a question. He says, hi, guys. What do you think? Sorry, just to clarify. Okay, I was in a dress as well, and we were raising money for a good cause. Just to clarify. Sorry, Peter. I think I should have said that as well. Hi, guys. What do you think will be the effect, and how quickly, when people start realizing that the countdown to a vaccine has started? Whatever happens with the virus, the vaccine will come. So much money thrown at it, it will come round sooner than people realize. Well, look, the thing is, look, I think Martin, I think you'll agree that the city, the market, stock market, it goes on people's perception. It goes on the atmosphere, the perception of where we're going. Yeah. And with Oxford University announcing, the end of last week, this week, that they have found this potential vaccine, and it wasn't just that they said, create these help the T cells to recognize the coronavirus and destroy it. They've got to do these trials. These trials usually take years before they're allowed. However, the thing is, the British government has ordered 100 million, reportedly, vaccines, and that gives great confidence to the market in the city. And I'm convinced that's why lenders have come back in, because they see the horizon is coming.
Hey, mate, my mum and dad used to say to me all the time, and I think this rings true, is that everybody thinks of the worst, but the worst never happens. All right, whatever's going on in your head, it will never happen. And I'm a believer in that. I have to be, otherwise we'd pack up and we'd move to Antigua or somewhere. But you look at it and you go, look, there's so much doom and gloom over coronavirus. And look, to be fair, get every politician off the bloody television, because they're pouring their living nuts off.
I think you and I should be on TV. Guys, I think we should start a poll. Do you think Mark Knight should be on the TV doing a little show?
Did you see that? I mean, I'm not politically motivated in any way, shape or form. Conservative, Labour, Liberal, couldn't care less, all right? Really couldn't, all right? But every time the Tories do something, Labour are in there going, oh, that's never going to work. We're all going to die. It's all too late. It's a disaster. Oh, shut up. At least they made a bloody decision, you ding. All right? So I'm looking at it going, with the, I saw the guys today talking about the vaccine. All right.
I'm so glad you're not political. I am. I like that. I like that you're just non-discriminative in any political party. Yeah.
I just look at it and I go, look, on either side, you see some of these dibbies turning up to Good Morning Britain or the BBC, all right, doing whatever they do. All right. I'm just thinking, going, oh, really? You're boring me now. How did you get the job? All right. How did you get it? How? I just don't understand. I mean, Boris, I quite like him because he's weird. I think he's strange, but he's not frightened to make a decision, and that's what we need. And then we've got the Labour dude and the young lady up in Scotland who, you know, whatever Boris says, they're going to just say it's all an old cack anyway. But regardless, I think you're right. You know, we're all looking at it. As soon as they mentioned there may be a vaccine, Oxford, which is down the road, I'm going to pop up there and nick one tonight. No, right. But I'm looking at
No, you said you were going to give it to your wife first and wait a couple of months to see if there's any side effects.
I'll change it now. I'll give it to my daughter. She's calming down. But no, looking at it going, as soon as that happened, the market did respond. But I don't think it affected lending. What's affecting the lending is that people were predicting so much that was going to happen, and it didn't. House prices were going to. Now they say, "Oh yeah, it's because of the government have put all of this money in," but I still will say, and so do. I've been reading reports from the city. There is still not enough stock in the housing market to meet demand. So, if demand and stock is up there, then things are going to happen. But it's not. People are not fire selling their houses. And we'll see in October, November time. I think November is probably the critical month here. And we know that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and that's an absolute disgrace and a distressing time for everybody. And by the way, if any property groups want me to speak and they're going on about people are going to lose their homes, I'm not speaking to you anymore. I've had enough. I don't want to hear it. These guys have worked all their lives and you want to prey on them. I'm not taking part in that game. All right. So, and all this below market value cap that I hear from other property groups, not playing with Trevor. All right.
No, I'm with you.
I'm not going to do the mortgages. Don't care. Go away. Go find a broker down the road. It'll do it for you for a fee. I'll be in charge, so just go and do it. But I think the market is responding, and the prices haven't dipped. The lenders are awash with money generally. Forget some of the lenders, but they're generally awash with money. So they're stable. We haven't seen that instability. Now, if prices drop dramatically, then what's going to happen to lending? Where's it going to go? Lenders are not going to lend to you at 75. They're going to lend to you at 55 or 60% loan to value. So it's self-defeating for you. So let's not wish a property crash on ourselves, please, because it's self-defeating for you all.
Look, to sort of extend Peter's question, we've been doing it for a while, and now we've done it to a bigger degree, quantitative easing. That has to be paid back. As in any finance, the books have to be balanced.
Yeah, the good old limited company is going to get slammed. So where we've all been having the benefits of 7.5% on our dividends at a certain level, it probably will go to 9%. You know, and national insurance will probably rise, and basic rate tax for employed people will probably stay really low because I want to keep those people in jobs. So it'll be the higher end earners that will probably bear the brunt of this repayment. But let's be honest, mate, it's going to take me and you will be long time dead before we pay this debt back. You know, it's never going to get paid back. The whole world will go, should we just write it all off then? Bored now. Yeah, we're all skinned.
I've got I think I know who's going to pick up the tabs for it anyway. But anyway, that's another subject. I grew, if I have said that, please forgive me if I've got that wrong, says, good to know the bridge to let product is bouncing back to pre-COVID. Lenders surveyed downvalued my GDV due to the pandemic scare. Looking forward to an uplift GDV when work is done in a few months. Interesting point. I want to ask you something. All the prices are going up. People are paying more. They're bidding more, and they're paying a bit more for it. But valuers seem still to be down valuing. What's going on?
No. Well, if you want to contact me, there's explanations for this. All right. It depends what you're doing. I don't know what he's doing.
Okay.
But the valuers have actually, or RICS have put in a thing in there which is sort of exempts them from any COVID happening. So they're like saying, well, COVID's here, but it actually exonerates them from any action from lending companies. So they've been quite good in their response. However, the lenders themselves and the whole lending industry is looking at what you're doing now to see whether it's realistic. That's really what we're looking at. So I don't know what to do. If you're doing flats, it's a bit different, etc. But I mean, flats, when they value them on a GDP, they're looking at, it might be a multi-unit plot, for example. It's not valued as each individual flat as if it had a long lease. It's a block value that they're going to lend against. All right, that's completely different. So your GDP might be affected by the type of valuation they're doing. Like it might be block value, it might be aggregate value, but you need to understand how lending works and which lender you've gone to, or more importantly, the person arranging it for you must understand what they're lending against.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people lend against the 180-day figure, which people go, what's that? It's how a lender can shift it out in 180 days, basically. So it's going to be all right. So,
right, look, our time's nearly up. We've got a couple more and one more question. Here we go. Calvin says, "I love Martin, straight to the point, no bulls." That's what he said. So he said, and then he also said he'd be a good MP. So you'd be a good member of Parliament. I think he didn't write the other bit, which I'd probably be the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
All right.
Trevor, there's no way you could be Prime Minister. I could be your deputy, right? Because I am so not politically correct, as Trevor knows. All right.
I know.
It just comes out. I apologise, but it just comes out. I've always been the same. I'm never going to change. So,
Matthew says, last one. Here we go. Would you mind going through a bridge to let, buy, refurb, refinance strategy using home equity step by step? We won't do the whole thing. Look, no, don't. You got 60 seconds.
Right, buy, refurb. Right, you find a property. So you find a property. Purchase price 100,000. You're going to spend 30,000, 50,000 pounds on it. You're going to create 250,000 pounds. You haven't got any money. You're skint. You've got home equity. You've got equity in your own home. Right, so you can take a charge over your own home for the deposit and possibly the works in some case. You finish your project, the property is now worth X, Y, Z, it's the uplift is given, you refinance it, you pay off all the money you own, release the charge in your own home, move on to the next.
Why don't you give that sort of description to people when they phone up? Why are you on the phone for an hour and a half? What is going on? You need me to come in and work with you and say, Martin, you've got 60 seconds, stop it, get on to the next call.
It takes an hour and a half for the person to say, well, I haven't actually got any money. I mean, look, we don't judge anybody. Tell us your problem, right? If we can solve it in minutes, just tell us what it is. You know, we're not going to remember it. You know, we'll just solve it and move on.
I love it. Listen, guys, we've got you. They're laughing. They love all of that. That was good. Martin, it's always a pleasure. I love being on with you. We're quite funny. I still think I'm the funniest. I do.
Let your people say that.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, next week, I hope, because my son's been downloading all these photos, and I want to do a presentation. He's done a lot of building work, but on kitchens, high-end kitchens. So I want him to go through, and we're going to do a little, maybe 5-10 minute presentation next week. I hope that he'll be ready. He wants a haircut and stuff like that. So, where'd you get your haircut, Martin? Anyway, enough said about that.
Charlie?
Where's Charlie? Is Charlie there? Charlie, can you come and give us some property advice, please?
Say hello to you, Charlie. Trevor. She's gone, oh.
Hi, Charlie. How you doing?
Hello.
How you doing? Is your dad? Have you done your dad's haircut?
She works in Asda.
Oh, nice. What's the
University life is great.
What's the slogan for Asda? What is it? Every little helps.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Give me a job.
Yeah, sure. Actually, your dad's a great employer. Could you work for your dad?
No.
Yeah.
This is a year. This is meant to be her year of, what year do you call this at uni? Placement year, but that's all gone wrong in COVID.
Oh.
So it's like,
I ain't got any money.
it's our surprise.
Dad has to buy everything for me because I haven't got any money.
Charlie, the bank of mum and dad, and listen, your dad's had a good year. He can, just be nice to him. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and you know, it's funny. Whatever our daughters want, they get. So you want a new car, new phone, just ask. You got it. All right. He said live on.
I'm about to ask him for another £500 to pay my deposit on my house. So.
Yeah. Well, hang on a minute. That's a cheap house. How much is that?
It's £400 a month.
It's a share, so it's not £400 a month, Trevor. It's 400 times 4.
Is that to buy a house?
No, that's a rent.
Oh, he'll give you that. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy. Your dad's.
We just do
ask
this.
him in front of you.
Yeah.
I always do.
Yeah. Actually, listen. Can I give you a tip? If you need 400, ask for 6.
Look at her face. I'm going to kill you.
I look forward to it. All right, bless him. Go make him a nice cup of tea or something. Look after him. It works all the time. A little bit of kindness goes a long way. All right.
It works all the time for you.
Bless you, Charlie. Bye.
Bye.
See you later, sweetie.
Yes. Bye.
Come on, give her that money tonight. You got it there. Come on, transfer it over. Guys, listen. I hope you really enjoyed that.
Cashflow Freedom cost me 500 quid in 1 minute.
Love it. And I want Charlie to come on and tell us next week that you actually paid it. All right. Bless you, Martin, everyone. Thank you for coming on. God bless you all.
Take care, guys.
Bless you. Bye.